Kamala Harris's VP pick, Tim Walz, gave his acceptance speech at the DNC last night, and to call it a cringe fest might be a tad bit of an understatement. Let's talk about it. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today I bring you a recap of day 3 of the Democratic National Convention, the DNC, in Chicago, Illinois. Kamala Harris's VP pick, Tim Walz, gave an acceptance speech, which was cringe, as was the entire event last night and the entire event in total. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, a bunch of cringe, a lot of lies, a lot of propaganda. Now, in this video, I'm not going to focus too much on the speeches. I'm going to talk about some things that happen beyond the speeches, talking to the crowd and actors and whatnot. Now, the first one is really interesting because this is a point that I've been making for a while, and this moment is a perfect place to highlight my point. Now, this is Joy Reid from MS-13 DNC and actor Wendell Pierce. He was with Louisiana when they were doing their state roll call to go ahead and place Kamala as the person instead of Joe Biden, who the electorate voted for. But that's a different story, and I digress. Now, Wendell Pierce was saying something here that's pretty interesting, and let me know if you hear what's wrong with what he said before I point it out to you. Let's go ahead and roll it.
And as a black man, why should we fear the rise of a black woman? Any black man that has an issue with a black woman rising, then they have to look at their own inadequacy.
There's more to that, but you got the general gist. Why should we fear the rise of a black woman? If you're a black man and you got a problem with Kamala, and then something's wrong with you, just like what Joe Biden was saying, hey, if you don't know whether you're voting for me or for Trump, you're not even black. It's the same thing. But check it out, Mr. Pierce. What if this was Candace Owens running for president as a Republican and people had something negative to say? Black men have something negative to say. Would you say, oh, she's a black woman, why are you doing that? I don't think you would. I think you would join the black men who are against Candace because you don't like her or her policy. The skin color at that point becomes irrelevant. So let's go ahead and just stop that talking point altogether. Don't say it's because she's black. Maybe it's because she's a Democrat and has super far left policies and she's a moron, potentially, perhaps, not the skin color. Which should be the same argument you use against Candace Owens. Okay, so let's keep on rocking. This is a pretty interesting moment right here. Shout out to Nick Shirley. He was doing street interviews, and I believe a lot of what my man right here is saying. This is also my point. Check it out.
What makes Kamala qualified to become the next president of the United States?
She's not. She didn't go through the voting process. They scared of the system, but I was all by design.
So how do you think it's even possible that she is now running for president when she wasn't even voted in to be the electoral?
Good question. Because
to be the person.
Because it's part of prophecy. If you look at like Egyptian, Kamala means lotus flower. Out of the lotus flower comes the sun god Ra. So what she's going to bring what he wanted. Back in the day, the sun god, along with Akhenaten, they were the rulers of the dynasty back in the day. They're going to bring economic doom.
Now, there's more to what he said, but hey, Kamala, I think Kamala Devi, her middle name, that together, I believe, means lotus flower. And what he's talking about is real as far as the sun god and all of that. You know, I had to shout out to my man that caught me last night, Indian guy on the show. Shout out to you, sir, for calling in to ABL Live. He was telling me that this could be some witchcraft type stuff going on. It gets really deep. But aside from that, which is a matter of faith, what he said about her not being elected by the people was right on point. The people voted for Joe Biden, not for Kamala Harris. And they just said, okay, we're going to disregard that and put her in there anyway, and then allow her to pick a VP. That is exactly what happened. Now, let's keep on going here. This was a funny moment. Shout out to Alex Stringer. He was able to troll the BBC into believing that he was a white dude for Kamala. Let's check some of this out. Again, he's trolling. He's not being serious.
What brought you out here today? No, listen, my name is Noah Shorts. I use he, they pronouns. Like, I'm just really excited that we have, like, the first black woman that could be the president of the United States. And you know, like my wife, right? We're in a polyamorous relationship. The lover that my wife took is African American, and like I've learned so much about the struggle that people of color go through as a result of my wife's boyfriend. And so I'm excited to really do my part to show solidarity for my marginalized communities. And like the best way to do that is to get the first woman of color to be the commander-in-chief. And I'm
Okay, shout out to my man Nick. I can't play the entire thing because we got Whitney in the background. I ain't trying to get a copyright claim from her estate, but this was gold. He went on for about another 2 minutes of straight trolling with woke talking points, and they were all into it. Look at this. They were all into it. My man right here got the camera. My man's really into it. My man right here, I see the wavy hair. Very pretty hair. You probably got a wife. You probably got a wife, and she probably got a boyfriend too. But yeah, funny moment. Let's keep on moving here. Now, Mindy King, who you may know from The Office, she's an actress. She may be watching ABL. Now, I can't necessarily take credit for what she's going to say right here, but I think maybe, just maybe, she saw my video that I'm going to show you in a minute. Check this out.
Hello and welcome to the third night of the Democratic National Convention. My name is Mindy King. Thank you.
And by the way, Mindy King, you look pretty good. You've lost the weight. What are we doing? Is it Ozempic? Is it something else? And I think I can ask that same question to Oprah, who was at the event last night, and Anna Navarro, who was there the night before. What's going on? Hollywood is being inundated with Ozempic the same way the black community was inundated with crack in the 1980s. But I digress.
For those of you who don't know me, I am an incredibly famous Gen Z actress who you might recognize from The Office. Thank you, The Mindy Project. Or as the woman who courageously outed Kamala Harris as Indian in an Instagram cooking video.
Now, stop right there. I made a video featuring that clip and it went viral. On TikTok, over 1 million views. Instagram, a lot of views. It went viral all over the place. So maybe, just maybe, she saw my video. I know the comments, well, you're the only one to use the clip, maybe y'all saw it somewhere else. I understand that. Let's just watch my video that I did as a reference point, all right? And here's a cooking video she's talking about. But let me just start from the top.
President Donald Trump got into a little bit of trouble recently because he said he did not know that Vice President Kamala Harris identified as a black woman because he always thought she identified as Indian. That's her on the left, by the way, and that's her entire family. And before we go any further, let's hear straight from the man himself.
Now, rather than hearing from Trump about the whole I thought she was Indian thing, let's just skip straight ahead to Mindy King outing Kamala as Indian.
Take Trump's word for it. So how about taking Kamala's word for it?
Okay, so what we're going to cook today is an Indian recipe. Yes. Because you are Indian.
Yes.
Okay, and I don't know that everybody knows that, but I find that wherever I go and I see Indian people at the supermarket, on the street, everyone's like, you know Kamala Harris is Indian, right? It's like.
So, yeah, shout out to Mindy King, who was a little bit fluffier back then before the Ozempic pack came in and fixed things up. But yeah, she said it right there. And in that video, she exposed it. Now, we got Slick Willie in the building. He gave a few words, actually quite a few words. He might have been the keynote speaker for real before Tim Walz came out. Check it out.
Ask for their help and then follow our leader, Kamala. And ask for their help and then follow our leader, Kamala.
So is that pronouncing the name right? Is he going to be called a racist like Nancy Mace was on CNN for mispronouncing the name? Is that going to happen? I don't think so because he's on their side. He's on their side, so it's okay. Now, here we go with another Ozempic patient, allegedly, Oprah.
The redwood forests, love those redwoods, to the Gulf Stream waters. I've seen racism and sexism and income inequality and division. I've not only seen it, at times I've been on the receiving end of it. From the redwood.
Now, look. I have no doubt in my mind that Oprah has faced racism coming from where she comes from, you know, dealing with the South and whatnot back in the day. But it was so much of this reaching back to the past, talking about things that hurt people's feelings and things that were wrong. But what are we going to do going forward? It's 2024. What are we going to do today? These speeches are very light as far as policy for now are concerned. Very light on policy. Now, here we go with Tim.
Hope, Gus, and Gwen, you are my entire world, and I love you.
So that's his son right there. He has pretty young kids. Tim Walz is like 60. So he might have been having kids when he was like in his 40s. I'm not really sure. That's going to be me at that age, to be totally honest. But his son kind of stole the show because he was super ugly, crying, face full of tears. But now they're saying he's like neurodivergent, ADHD, and anxiety, things of this nature. That's what they're saying. But that could be true, false. I don't really know. I'm just letting you know what the streets are saying.
I'm letting you in.
All right, so that's that. Now, this was a moment that kind of brought me back to what Tim Walz had said earlier, and I was offended by it.
I had 24 kids in my high school class, and none of them went to Yale.
So this right here is a dig at J.D. Vance, because J.D. Vance comes from Appalachia, or at least Appalachian parents. You Appalachian adjacent. Cincinnati, Middletown, that's like right outside the geographic place called Appalachia, but it's right there. I got a lot of family in Ohio, at Columbus, Toledo, like Ohio, especially the southern part. It's a lot of Appalachian people there. It's the same people, in my humble opinion. My family in Columbus are the exact same as my West Virginia family. There's no difference. But he wants to attack J.D. Vance for going to Yale and becoming successful, but being at the same time from Appalachia and from a troubled background, which is ridiculous, because isn't that the American dream, to come from nothing and become something? And that's my story as well. I come from Appalachia too. Ran West Virginia. My parents got married in my grandmother's front yard when they were age 18 and 21. My dad had a trailer, a single wide trailer on a plot of land, and we came down in the trailer from the mountain to Virginia, and here I am, homeowner, everything else. That's the American dream. But he wants to just dump on that because he's playing on the thought process of people that say, oh, if you're from this particular class, then you can't rise up. Or you're a poser if you do rise up. This is just the kind of crab in the bucket mentality. But as I close, I want to say this. Shout out to everybody who was watching the stream last night. I appreciate y'all. I know it might have been torturous at certain points when I was skipping back to the DNC. And the same thing for Monday and Tuesday. Tim Walz is a clown, as was everybody else on stage, in my humble opinion. And I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What's your opinion about day 3 of the DNC? Did you watch it? Did you enjoy it? Did you enjoy Tim Walz or anybody else on stage? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. Tim Walz, all these people, they're just a bunch of lying, not really too much on policy, trying to pull on your heartstrings, trying to just play with you mentally, but they're not really giving you anything of substance. And that's not the kind of speech or talk that I enjoy. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that is all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.